I have made the biggest mistake when dealing with hair loss, and I see guys make this all the time. The number one mistake you can make when dealing with hair loss is to wait and to not actually start on medication as fast as possible. Now, you're sitting there possibly thinking, oh, but I want to try these natural remedies. Natural remedies do not work when it comes to hair loss, and believing that they actually do work and trying them all while you keep losing your hair is the biggest mistake that you can make. Why is that? Because hair loss with medication like Locklab is pretty easy to actually stop. It's pretty easy to keep from going bald, but it's much harder to actually get hair back. Now, with Locklab's medication compounded formula, which you can get at locklab.co, you can get quite a lot of hair back, but how much hair you get back varies a good bit from person to person based on just your genetics. But being able to stop hair loss, well, that is pretty much across the board something that everyone can do.
Yeah, David, I have associated myself with the top surgeons, I believe, in the country. Dr. Dan McGrath, who did a phenomenal job on your hairline, on my hairline. He's amazing, and one of the most top of the list things I would say patients always say after they're celebrating the results is, man, I should have done it sooner. So when you're talking about hair loss, maybe you're not ready for a hair transplant. Maybe you got too much hair for a transplant. Maybe you just see a little bit of thinning and you're like nervous, or maybe your dad's bald and your uncle's bald and there's hair loss on both sides of the family, but yet you have no hair loss. Locklab is the insurance policy for your hair. So don't be a victim out there of your own doing. Make sure that you don't sit around, lose hair, and then get on the medication and say, man, I should have done this sooner.
That is the absolute biggest mistake that you can make. So if you can avoid that and not make the biggest mistake, which is doing all these other things and waiting, then you can be one of the most successful people when it comes to your hair, even if you have strong hair loss genetics. So go to locklab.co, click on End My Hair Loss, and help us make hair loss history. Is your dad balding? Well, then you need this today. My dad was totally bald by the time that he was my age. And when I was growing up, he used to tell me, David, by the time you're my age, you're gonna be bald like me. I can tell it. I can look at your hair right now and see that. And there's this common myth for some reason that some people still believe that hair loss genetics come from your mother's side. That is not true. Actually, hair loss can come from either side. And if your dad or your uncle are bald, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to start losing your hair too at some point. So the thing that you can do to become the hero of your family, the hair hero, is to go to locklab.co and get on medication preventatively as fast as possible. That's the biggest mistake that you can make, is not getting on preventative treatments as fast as possible, because it's much easier to keep the hair that you have than it is to try and get it back after you've lost quite a lot.
I sit here and I just get more jealous and jealous and jealous, because when I was 17, 18, losing my hair, my dad was thinning, but he didn't have a lot of hair loss. I had an uncle on each side. I knew for some reason, oh my God, deep in my heart, that I was going to end up like one of them, and I almost was. 20 years after I started exploring with hair transplants and wearing wigs and doing all this stuff, luckily I still had a little bit of hair left. Locklab, or the formulation of this product, came out, and now we have Locklab, and I would recommend this to anyone out there that really likes your hair, and I know you do. You need to be preventative, stop hair loss in its tracks, and get on this medication.
Nothing would make us happier than really making you the hair hero of your family, and for you to be able to laugh at your dad someday when you have a full head of hair and he's the bald one. Not to make your dad feel bad, but to be able to say, hey, you know what? I did something about it. I saw that there was preventative treatments that I could get on to not end up bald like you, and I got on them, and I have this beautiful full head of hair. And I think your dad, though, is going to be a little bit jealous of you at that point. But that's an okay jealousy. I'm sure he'll be happy and proud of you for making the right decision as well. So go to locklab.co and click End My Hair Loss.